there, it's Carol with Carol B Crafts. Today we'll be doing card number 6 in my Your Inspiring Flying Home online class. Now the kit for this class includes 6 cards and 1 bonus project, and you can get the kit absolutely free to make those 6 cards and bonus project just by purchasing $60 retail. That's before shipping and tax. On StampingUp.com using the current host code from my website www.carolbcrafts.com. So if you haven't taken advantage of getting those kits to follow along on these videos, there's a video for each project. Check out my blog and get that host code. Go shopping, purchase anything you want up to a minimum of $60 retail. And I will send you the card kits and the project for the bonus kit absolutely free. Now if you don't have the kit, don't worry, you can follow along. I'll give you the dimensions, and I'll also put the supplies and dimensions on my website as well. Just search Your Inspiring or Flying Home, and you can get the directions and everything will come up. Well, not the directions, but the supplies and dimensions. So today in this card we will be using our watercolor pencils, and this is the kit that we'll need. This is how the kits come pre-packaged for you together, and everything's in the package so that you don't have to go hunting and wondering what goes with what. And then in the envelope I always put your small embellishments and your ribbon. So we'll look at what we have inside our envelope. You will find the 2, there's actually 3, if it'll come out. It's stuck in the corner down there. Okay, so you have, and these are the silver metallic enamel shapes, and I'll put the number on the screen. But I've taken the silver ones and I've colored them with the light Calypso Coral Stampin' Blends pen. I used the brush tip and I just colored them, and they hold the color really well, and that kind of helps them blend in with the card a little better than just the silver. I think you can see how much prettier they are with just that little bit of tint. So I'm actually going to put these back in my envelope so they don't get lost. Now we have the 1/4 inch Calypso Coral sheer ribbon. We have 3 pieces 7-inch long and 1 piece 8-inch long for the bow. So we'll put that aside. And then we have our Thick Whisper White base. We'll go ahead and find the valley and fold away and use our bone folder. Crease those folds. And we can set that aside for a little bit. And then on top of that is going to be a piece of Pacific Point, and it is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and then we have a piece of our DSP, which is 5 1/4 by 4, and I have it so the scallops are going down. Then we have a piece of Calypso Coral that is 4 1/8 by 3 3/8, 4 1/8 by 3 3/8, but all of these will be on my website. And then we have Pacific Point again, 3 7/8 by 3 1/8. And then these are Thick Whisper White. We'll be doing our stamping and our watercoloring on these, and they are 3 1/4 by 3. 3 1/4 by 3. You only need 1, but I always give you 2 just in case. So we'll just set all of this aside for now because we're going to stamp and watercolor. Now to do the watercoloring, basically, rather than tell you all the colors that you'll need, because you'll need all of these colors for these pretty colorful houses, I'll just tell you the only color you won't need is white. So every other color we use. And then you will need your aqua painter brush and some water, not a lot of water, just a little bit, and a piece of paper towel or napkin to wipe your brush off with. And then for your stamp on your E block, because it won't fit on a D block, you'll need, that looks a little crooked, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to use my Stamp-A-Majig. You'll need the houses stamp, and you'll also need the Kind Thoughts for You stamp. I have that on a D block. You'll need, for the inside sentiment, the Happy Birthday and the little bird. So we'll go ahead and set these aside. We're going to go with the house first, and we'll get some snail. I like to use just a little bit of snail to hold it in place while I stamp. Get my Stamp-A-Majig sheet out, and we'll need our arm that goes with it. So we're going to use Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and we'll ink up our stamp. I do a little bit of twisting and tapping there to get that ink there, even get it on my finger. So I'm going to make an impression on my plastic, and that will help me to know where to place my image here on this piece of cardstock. Now I want to leave enough to do the Your Kind Thoughts of You, or you could put another one there if you want to put Happy Birthday here, or You're Inspiring. You could do that. The tip of this house is just right there, just a little bit away from the top, and then the houses are even on the side. These are kind of level from the bottom, so that's a good spot. I ink up my stamp again. And wipe my hands. Okay, then I'll put this on my cardstock. Go straight down. Give it a little help. And then straight up. So if you want to do the other one, you can. I'm going to go ahead and put the Kind Thoughts of You. Get my Stampin', and I'm just going to use this corner because I'm going to stamp another one of those images off camera. So I'm just going to leave that on there. And you can do that if you have several things to do rather than having to wipe it every time. You can just use different corners of your plastic sheets. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so now it's ready to color. Now we're going to bring in our card, and this is a landscape card, so we're going to stamp it in this direction, and I'll put something on there just to kind of hold it flat. And we're going to stamp Happy Birthday. I think I'll use this larger piece here to make sure it's even down there at the bottom along one of the lines, and then even here, so that I can put my Happy Birthday. It's about 1¼ inches. Well, let me bring this down here. It's about it's about 1½ inches from the top. And I'll bring in my Stampin' jig. I'll use this corner here and ink up my stamp, Happy Birthday. And it's upside down. Okay, let's try that again, and this time hopefully it won't be upside down. Go ahead and put that in the corner and make our image. Yeah, that's better. And then we have 1½ inches from the top so that we have it even. And then we'll bring in this, and once I have it where I want it, I will pull this out, replace it with my Stampin' jig, and then I will ink up my stamp and stamp Happy Birthday. But you could put Happy Mother's Day, use the Happy Mother's Day stamp, or the Happy Easter stamp even. Now I think I will use both of the birds, and I'm not going to use my Stampin' jig for this. I think I'm just going to put my birds wherever they end up. Put the other one on the other side. Just make sure I don't get any on the edge. Then I guess I'll put this one on this side. So now we have Happy Birthday. So we're done with our stamping, and we can move on to our coloring. And since we have our birds here, let's just go ahead and color these little birds while we have them out. So I have found that when my brush dries overnight, it gets the bristles fan out. That's okay. We don't put water in our aqua painter brush, at least I don't when I use it, because I used very little water. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get the brush pretty wet. I might want to move this out of the way for just a sec. And get the brush pretty wet, and then I'm going to dry it off. And as I dry it off, you're going to see that the point returns. Now I have a nice point. And I just want my brush a little bit wet. I don't want it too wet. So that's probably enough. So we'll bring this back in and get our yellow. Well, let's see, the bird on the outside is blue, so let's do a blue birds on the inside. So I'm just doing a circular motion. Now, it doesn't take very much water to make this pencil flow. That's why I don't use water in my pen. Now if you want your birds darker, you can let that dry and come back in later and do another coat. I may do that, I may not, I don't know. So I'm going to clean off my brush, and I'm just going to touch those beaks. Okay, so the inside is done. So now we're going to start with our houses. Now with the houses, we can put down one coat and then come back and do another coat. So I'm going to start with my early espresso, and my tip is somewhat sharp, but I'm going to sharpen it a little more. And then I'm going to do these wood stands that they're on, not these, not the foundations, just the wood. Okay, other things that are brown. Let me bring in our card. I'm going to put a little brown on this door here, a light coat of brown, because I'm actually going to add another color to that. The shutters here on the side are going to be brown. I'm going to put a little brown on the rooster, and I'm going to come back in with some red later for that as well. I think that's all of the brown. I think I did the, yeah, I wanted more of a brick look, so I'm going to do some brown and then come back in with some red on these chimneys here. So just a light coat of brown there. Okay, we'll go on to our next color, which is going to be black. Make sure you have a nice point on your black, and we're going to do the 3 foundations. You can see 3 foundations there, and then just this little awning right there. Okay, then we're going to move on to our Bermuda Bay, and this piece here will be Bermuda Bay. The curtains in this middle birdhouse will be Bermuda Bay. And this little flower here is Bermuda Bay. Okay, I also should have told you, we should have done this from the first, but I forgot. Some Pacific Point. Get a scratch piece of paper and try to make it so that it has a nice fine, and then you're going to take this and just a nice fine movement here between these houses. Try to avoid getting in the house. I'm coming down through there, and here on the side, this is our sky, and then here around the rooster, and then down here and up through there. Okay, so that's our sky. Now we're going to hit that with a brush that is a little bit wetter than what we usually use, because what we want to do is blend that in really well so that it looks like a sky. So yeah, you should do that first before you do any of the other coloring, but I forgot, so forgive me for that. It's just easier to not make mistakes if you do it that way. Okay, so the next thing we do is the gray. So we'll get our gray. Now we're going to color very lightly the windows. Okay, and then the other gray that we're going to do is this roof. And we're going to add Calypso Coral to that, so we don't want to do it too dark. And then this roof is going to be solid gray. And our first coloring doesn't have to be too dark, because we can come back and hit it again once we've put the water on. Our next color is going to be Rich Razzleberry. That's going to be, actually no, not Rich Razzleberry. It's going to be the blue. And we're going to do these stripes on the house. And the circle here. And around the door. This circle here. And the bird. And I think that's it for the blue. I might come back over here and do a little bit more. Now we'll do the Daffodil Delight. And this doorknob right here should have been gray. So hit that with gray. And now we'll do Calypso Coral. And we'll do this roof. And lightly cover this roof too. And then this door here. And then we have this house is also. Now we're going to put something over that heart, so we can go ahead and color around that heart or color over it. We don't have to color around it because we're going to be putting this little heart here over it. And let's see, for next will be you know, for the yellow, I forgot to do the yellow around this window here. There. Next is red. The rooster, we're going to lightly color the rooster's body red. It's going to be a mixture of the brown and the red. And then we're going to color the rest of him red. Even his little beak is going to be red. And then the chimney that's been, we have some brown on, we're going to add some red to it. And then this chimney, we're going to add some red to it. These flowers down here will be red. And I think that's it for red. Oh, these flags. So we have the first one is red, skip one, then the next one's red, skip one, the next one's red, skip one, the next one's red. And let's get our pink, our and go over where we just did the red, Melon Mambo. And it's going to be kind of a blend of red and pink. We'll get our pumpkin pie and do the other flag. We're going to bring in our yellow again, and this little door right here is going to be a mixture of colors. So we're going to add some yellow to that. We're going to bring in our Rich Razzleberry and do this middle house in Rich Razzleberry. And we will come back and do another coat of the Rich Razzleberry. And then this down here, this little planter, is rich raspberry. And then the last things we have to do is some more yellow. I forgot about the beak here. And some old olive. We need that for the leaves. Okay, are you ready to blend? So we're going to get our brush, and like I said, I'm going to get it wet, but then I'm going to dry it off so that it has some water on it, but not too much. Make sure my point is good and sharp. We'll start with the wooden stands, and you only want to wet it enough to where it blends and becomes a watercolor. You don't want to leave your brush there very long. Okay, clean up my brush. We'll go up to the black. Now we'll go up to the green, the is that Marina Mist, I think, maybe? Now we'll do our gray. And I can see that I forgot the Marina Mist goes here on the sides too of the windows. Okay, so we did our gray. Now we're going to move to our blue. We'll clean our brush off. Now we'll move to the yellow. And next to I forgot the brown here on the sides. Now to our Calypso Coral. And we will come back and hit this Calypso Coral again, so if it's faint, don't worry about it. Now we want to do the, I think I forgot the black here. Definitely want to clean off my brush. Now we're going to do the chimneys. And then the rooster. And I guess the flags, just the red ones, the reddish pink ones. Okay, and then this roof here. And then our gray roof. And I think we need to do our orange, our pumpkin pie. And is that everything, I think? I think that's everything. So now we're going to come back and we're going to, oh, we didn't do the rich raspberry. I think I'll get my brush a little wet again and we'll do the rich raspberry. So from here out is kind of preference. If you want to make things a little darker, you can. I'm going to come back in and make the black a little darker on the stands here. And up here. And then I'm just going to barely touch it with the water. Okay, and then I'm going to do some more of the Marina Mist. I think I will do some more blue. Now these small parts of blue, I'm not going to hit those again with water, nor the bird. I'm just going to hit this part of the blue here again with water. Okay, and then of course I definitely want to do that Calypso coral roof again. The door and the house. Okay, I want to do the Rich Razzleberry again. And I think that's pretty much it. So we'll let that dry while we put the rest of our card together. So we'll start with our card base. We have our happy birthday. So this is our card front. And we'll bring in the rest of our stuff. So we know that this is going to go on the Pacific Point. So we'll go ahead and put that on. Find my snail. And I'll use a piece of my waxy strip here. And it looks like it's 1/8 of an inch all around. Now before we put this on our card front, we need to find our 3 7-inch pieces. That would be the 3 smaller ones. The 8-inch piece, which must be this one, is for our bow, so we'll set that aside. Now on the back, as close to the edge without going over, you're going to put a couple of strips of, let me back out. Okay, that's better. So we're going to put a couple of strips along the side for our ribbon, and we're going to start about, it looks like about 3/4 of an inch from the top. So on the back, about 3/4 of an inch from the top, you're going to stick it in that and bring it around, and it looks like it is about almost 1 3/4 of an inch. A little more than 1 3/4 of an inch, but not 1 1/2. And then this one is 1 3/4, about here. This came loose. Let me make sure that's nice and tight. We don't want it sagging. Okay, so then this one is going to be about 1/4 of an inch lower than that one, and it's going to go over here. And this is kind of important because you want to make sure your little bow is going to end up in the right place. And it looks like it's about 1/2 an inch below that. And I'm having problems here with my ribbon wanting to stay in my, I'm not pushing it in there good enough, I think. Alright, I've got it pushed in there pretty good now, so it should stay. Alright, so now it's ready to go on the card front, like this. So remember, the scallops are going down. They're swooping down. Put some on my ribbon, make sure it stays down. So my scallops are scooping down. And this is my card front, and it's a 1/16 of an inch. Make sure it gets pushed down good there on the edges where that ribbon is. Okay. Now we're going to take our Calypso Coral and our Pacific Point and put that on top of that. And that's a 1/8 of an inch around. Doesn't want to stick because I didn't put that much adhesive on there. Okay, so that's about an 1/8 of an inch around. Okay, I had to change SD cards because this is a long video with all the coloring that we did. So now I'm going to put this on the Pacific Point. And it's a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. Now this is going to go onto the card front with mini dimensionals. And you will have some mini dimensionals in your adhesive kit. So we're going to put about, I'm guessing, about 5 at the top and 5 at the bottom. Now we're going to look at this and see about where that is, because we want to put about 6 of them here behind this. So maybe if we put this here, that will show us where we can put them. So I'll put 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take the backing off of these, and then the backing off of these. So once we get the backing off all of those, this is ready to go on our card. So I'm just going to try to eyeball it here. Try to get it in the middle. That looks about right. So I'll push it down. Now we're ready to do our little decorative metallic enamel shapes. So they should still be in our envelope. So the heart is going to go here on this heart, and I'll be using my piercing tool to place it in place. Hopefully, if it doesn't fly away. Okay. And it fits perfectly over that. It's as though it was made just for that little heart. And then the circles, one is going to go here by the K, kind of right here. And one is going to go here by this corner of this house, right here. And if you decide later that you want to come in and you want to add some color to the places that's missing some color and give it some shading, you can do that without having to add any water to it. Okay, I think that that looks good enough for now. Oh, we need our bow, don't we? This tiny little bow. So the little bow is going to go about right here. And to make our bow, we're going to take our paper and make our 2 loops like we normally do, if we can. So the thinner the ribbon, the harder it is to work with. Okay, so we have that loop and we have that loop. So we're just going to take this one and cross it over in an X. Make sure that stays on top. and then we're going to push it through this hole that we just made, the loop, and then pull it through and adjust it. We can make it as big or as little as we want, and we want a little one, so we're going to go ahead and work to make this a small bow. About an inch, half an inch, and that looks about right. And then you can have it either way, whichever direction you think it looks best. I like it better like this. Now we're going to bring in a glue dot, which will also be in your adhesive pack, and put it on the back of our bow and pinch our bow off. And then right here is where we're going to put our bow. We're going to stick it right there. And then we're going to come in with our scissors, our handy dandy snips, and we're going to cut that so that it doesn't hang over the side. And we have our bow. Just adds a little tiny little bit, but makes such a big difference. All right, so we have card number 6 in our Your Inspiring Flying Home online card class. We have one more project, the bonus project, which is a little gift box, which can be used for Easter or Mother's Day, or even a birthday. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching. Check out my website, www.carolbcrafts.com, and get that host code. Go shopping and get your card kit absolutely free from me. If you're watching this after April 30th, 2018, which the kit will be available through April 30th, 2018, go ahead and check that website anyway, because I will have a current class available that I'm sure you will love. All right, well, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye now.